There's a condition that affects every single woman who lives long enough to reach midlife, and it has over 30 recognized symptoms, yet most women can't name more than 2 or 3 of them, and most doctors aren't trained to catch it either. That's not an opinion. That's a gap confirmed by the very doctor of an Academy Award-winning actress, who looked directly at one of its most common symptoms and misdiagnosed it as an STI. Halle Berry was 54, in what she describes as the best shape of her life, managing her health closely. She's kept her diabetes under control since she was 20, when she went to her gynecologist in pain. Her doctor's verdict: the worst case of herpes I've ever seen. She wasn't wrong to trust him. He was wrong. What she actually had was vaginal atrophy, a textbook symptom of perimenopause, and her own OBGYN didn't recognize it. That's exactly why her story is the right one to learn from today.
When I was 54 years old, I had just met man. I manifested this man. And I just met him, and we were having the best time. I finally met my person. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Not because she's famous, but because her case proves something every woman needs to hear. This isn't a knowledge gap you can out-earn, out-fitness, or out-access your way past. Halle had the resources, the doctors, the discipline, and the system still failed to tell her what was happening to her own body. So she went and got the answer herself, then built a platform and later stood in front of the U.S. Congress pushing for $275 million in menopause research funding. In the next 20 minutes, you're going to get the answer she had to go find the hard way. Every symptom on this list traces back to the same source. 3 hormones your ovaries have produced reliably for decades, now declining unevenly, unpredictably as you move through perimenopause and into menopause. Estrogen is the primary one. It doesn't just govern your menstrual cycle. It regulates body temperature, mood chemistry, skin collagen, bone density, cholesterol, and memory function. It swings erratically for years before settling at a lower baseline, which is precisely why symptoms can feel random rather than steady. Progesterone often drops first, sometimes years ahead of estrogen. It has a calming, stabilizing effect on the nervous system, part of why anxiety and disrupted sleep frequently show up before a single hot flash ever does. Testosterone matters too. This is the piece Halle has spoken about directly, since she's talked publicly about testosterone therapy, restoring her energy and libido. As it declines alongside the other two, it's a major reason fatigue and low libido show up together. Halle has spoken candidly about the sudden, intense anger that can accompany hot flashes. She's called it exhilarating rage. Estrogen helps regulate your hypothalamus, your internal thermostat. When it drops unevenly, that thermostat misfires, triggering a flush and sweat with no real cause. That same turbulence hits the brain's mood centers simultaneously, which is why a hot flash and a flash of anger often arrive together. Estrogen receptors are dense in the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. When estrogen fluctuates, that region works less efficiently, hence losing a word mid-sentence. It's not decline. It's temporary, and eases once hormones stabilize after menopause. This is where testosterone comes back in. Its decline contributes directly to lower energy and reduced sex drive. Precisely why Halle has spoken publicly about testosterone therapy. As estrogen falls, fat storage shifts toward the abdomen, and metabolism slows slightly. This isn't about willpower. It's a shift in your body's baseline chemistry. That's exactly why her story is the right one to learn from today. Not because she's famous, but because her case proves something every woman needs to hear. This isn't a knowledge gap you can out-earn, out-fitness, or out-access your way past. Halle had the resources, the doctors, the discipline, and the system still failed to tell her what was happening to her own body. So she went and got the answer herself, then built a platform and later stood before the U.S. Congress, pushing for $275 million in funding for menopause research. In the next 20 minutes, you're going to get the answer she had to find the hard way. Every symptom on this list traces back to the same source. 3 hormones your ovaries have produced reliably for decades, now declining, unevenly, unpredictably, as you move through perimenopause and into menopause. Start here, since it's the one that changed Halle's life. As estrogen declines, vaginal tissue loses elasticity, thins, and produces less lubrication, a condition doctors call vaginal atrophy. It can cause pain severe enough that Halle described it as feeling like razor blades, and can look on the surface like an infection, exactly how it got misread. It's treatable through local vaginal estrogen, moisturizers, or lubricants. Estrogen regulates the cells responsible for building and breaking down bone. Without enough of it, women can lose up to 10% of bone density in the first 5 years after menopause, with no day-to-day symptoms to warn you. This is why calcium, vitamin D, and weight-bearing exercise matter starting now. Estrogen stimulates collagen production. Its decline is linked to a loss of up to 30% of skin collagen within 5 years, which is why skin can feel thinner and hair can thin. Halle didn't get spared any of this. She got misdiagnosed by her own gynecologist. What changed her outcome was refusing to let that be the end of the story. She researched her own symptoms, pursued testosterone therapy, and has continued managing the type 1 diabetes she's lived with since 20. A reminder that menopause interacts with whatever else your body is already managing. And she didn't stop there. She built ResPin and pushed Congress for $275 million in menopause research funding, because the knowledge gap that nearly cost her a relationship isn't a personal failing, it's systemic. What to do plus takeaway. Start with protein at every meal. It protects muscle mass. Add consistent calcium and vitamin D. Reduce alcohol and processed sugar, both of which intensify hot flashes and disrupt sleep. Avoid severe calorie restriction. It backfires under hormonal stress. Add weight-bearing and resistance training 2 to 3 times a week, paired with regular walking. Don't self-diagnose alone in silence the way Halle nearly had to. If something feels wrong, bring it to a doctor. And if the first answer doesn't sit right, ask again or find a menopause specialist. Ask specifically about hormone options, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone therapy. Everything you felt, the dryness, the heat, the rage, the fog, the fatigue, traces back to the same 3 hormones stepping back, exactly as they're biologically designed to. That's not a flaw in you, and it's not rare. It happened to a woman with every resource available to her, and it's happening to millions who never got this explanation. Halle Berry turned her misdiagnosis into a mission because she refused to accept, "I don't know." You don't need a platform to do the same for yourself. You need the information and the willingness to keep asking. Part to your doctor. Ask specifically about the symptoms you've recognized here today. And know that what you're going through has a name, a clear medical explanation, and real proven ways through it. Tomorrow we're looking at one more symptom almost no one talks about publicly until now. This isn't the end of anything. It's not decline, and it's not a stage of life to quietly survive. It's a transition your body is fully equipped to move through. Especially once you understand it, get the right support and stop carrying it in silence. You are not losing yourself. You are simply becoming the next version of yourself, with the knowledge to meet it head-on. Talk to your doctor. Ask about what you recognized here today. And walk away from this video knowing your body, not fearing it. Subscribe to Health the Woman, Science Backed Up Woman Health. Your body is not broken. It is just waiting for you to understand
researching
it.
you before this conversation, because half of the things that I found seem like conspiracy theories, but they're true. Because you type Halle Berry, and then all of a sudden, like, the first thing that popped up was Halle Berry intimacy gel. And I was like, oh, wait, no, this is, and I thought it was my search engine. I was like, no, sorry, wait, this is, no, me, Halle Berry, what is she doing? And then it was like, Halle Berry, herpes. And I was like, whoa, no. I was like, what is happening to my algorithm? And then when I read through everything, I was like, oh, wow, Halle Berry is doing everything right now.
Is she?
I mean, you tell me, like it feels like, in the same way that menopause is a moment of transformation for women, it feels like you are in a menopause of life and you're turning something that people would commonly think of as the end into a new beginning.